Hello and welcome to the Launch Your Second Act podcast. I'm your host, Angela Vassallo, and I'm so glad you are here. I'm a businesswoman, author, entrepreneur, speaker, stepmom, and mum. I know that's a lot of hats, and I know that you wear them too. I help ambitious women just like you dream big, spark ideas, create more clarity, and kick those big ideas into action. This podcast was designed for ambitious women who are at the unique junction in their lives. I call it the second act. Women who are conquering life's transitions and are becoming the main character in their second act. It's time to rediscover what you want and how to get it. Upgrade and master your inner game and raise your standards. Hear from amazing women who have overcome, transformed, and are reclaiming their desires. Embrace this time in our lives. This is not a time to slow down, it's a call to action to discover what you really want. I hope this podcast inspires you to amplify your belief that you are capable of achieving the epic life that you dare to envision. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. So happy to have you here and tuning in. Thank you so much. And also, thank you to all the great feedback and response we've had from our last podcast. We've just launched it and it's been so exciting, and the feedback has been awesome. So, thank you so much for your support. We're only just getting started. I have some incredible speakers and interviews lined up for the year that I just know you're going to love, and you're just going to get so much out of it. So, welcome. If this is your first time, it's fabulous to have you here. I'm your host. My name is Angela Vassallo. And today I'd love to talk about something that is dear to my heart. And it's all about keeping your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground. I started out many, many years ago as an entrepreneur. I've been in business, and I've also been a student of personal development for over 30 years. I've spoken in depth about that. However, I used to be somebody that people would consider she had her head in the clouds. She was always dreaming of these big ideas. She had massive dreams. She wanted to go far. And a lot of people really didn't relate to me. A lot of my friends were in jobs, good, secure jobs. And being an entrepreneur and having my own business, people didn't understand that and saw that as, I guess, sort of pie in the sky, not really living in reality. It was all a bit far-fetched, the goals and the dreams that I was setting and the businesses that I was, visualizing and dreaming about. I decided that I really wanted to build these. However, when I talk about having your head in the clouds, I guess many, many years ago, when I actually met my husband 20 something years ago, I walked straight into a blended family. He had children, his ex-wife, and he'd been married before. And I remember thinking that I had rose-colored glasses on, because looking back, in the beginning, I always thought everything was going to be perfect. Everybody would love me. Everything's going to be fine. And you don't realize that all these other outer influences that affect your relationship and, business, relationships, family dynamics, friendships that used to be, it was just, a lot. And, I think that I was somebody that had those rose-colored glasses. And my husband used to say that yours weren't the average rose-colored glasses. Yours were like those big, massive clown rose-colored glasses. And I have to admit, I was probably like that. I did see the glass half full, still do. However, I live a lot more in reality now, and, I understand a lot more, and I'm not as naive, I guess. One of the things I've learned over the years is to still keep your head in the clouds. However, it is so important to keep your feet on the ground. And that's what I want to talk on today, because I'm all for people believing that they can achieve great things. However, there must be a plan of action to achieve that. And you must be, in motion and figuring out ways, putting yourself in the position so when these opportunities do come up, you're ready. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today. And one of the things I also want to talk about is looking at things when we talk about the glass half full. Is it a problem or is it an opportunity? And part of being a positive person and seeing things, I'm results orientated. So if there's a problem, I have a tendency to try to figure out very quickly, how can we solve that? That's also being an entrepreneur. That's being a leader. That's owning businesses. Once you own businesses, everything falls on your shoulders and you have to solve problems day in, day out. I have said before, I feel like I am a professional problem solver. I have been that for many, many years. But is it a problem or is it an opportunity? And that's one thing I want you to think about the next time a big problem, shows up in your life. Look at it like, is this here to serve me? What can I learn from this? Can I find an opportunity out of this to be able to move forward? And think about it like this. Is it a setback or is it a reset? So things in life can happen and we can look at them in a negative way and think to ourselves, this is a step back. I've taken one step forward and 10 steps back. Sometimes you need to take those steps back to reset so then you can move forward again. And sometimes it might not be the right path that you're going down. And that way you're being moved into a different direction. So I'd really encourage people, especially when you're starting out in a new business or a new career or whatever you're doing, if there's a problem there, if it's something that you can't solve, because the first thing is to start to work out how I can solve this problem, or is this problem an opportunity? An opportunity for change, an opportunity to look at something differently, an opportunity to resolve this issue, to move forward. And also think to yourself, is this a setback or is it a reset? I also want to mention one thing I heard recently was don't do your best in life, do what's required. And I had a good think about that. And I thought this is really profound because most people will say and go through their lives and actually have this mindset, I'll do my best or I've done my best. And usually what that means is there's a limitation there to what their best is. It's a perceived idea to what they think their best is. However, what if you change that and said this, I do what's required. So what's essential and what's required? Because usually what is required and what is essential does get done. So if you're moving forward in your business and you're thinking about all the things that you've got to do in a day or a week or a month or even, 90 days, even into a year, don't always look at it like I'll do my best. Start to think about it like this is something that I'm going to do that is required and it is essential. Because when you do say, I'll do my best, it's almost like a cop-out, like it's a plan. You've given yourself a plan B. You're saying, I'm going as far as I can go. I may not get this done. I may not get this done. However, that's my best. Well, is it really? Or is that just a mindset that you've got? Is that just a block that you've got? So I want you to think about that as well, because when I did hear that, I thought, wow, many of us, and me included, I've done my best. Okay, well, what is your best? Or could you have gone a little bit further if you had done what was required? And I really want you guys to think about the fact that you hold the pen in your hand to write your story. You really do. And you can become the main character in your life at any time. You can edit a chapter, you can change it any way you want. It may have started out the book like this, but now this is where it's moving and this is where it's going to end. And you think to yourself, am I the lead person in my life? Am I the star of the show? Or am I a supporting act? If you're a supporting act, you want to try to figure out how you can be the star of your own show, because that is where the self-esteem comes in. That is where taking control of your own life comes in, and not allowing somebody else to take that pen and write your story. It's up to you to write your own story. And the way you do that is by making changes, setting clear goals, focusing on a vision, understanding where you want to go, getting, great mentors and coaches around you, and starting to move in the direction of your dreams, not into someone else's dream. Because it's always this is great saying that if you don't focus on something, you'll fall for everything. So be careful of what you're falling for. Are you falling for someone else's goals and dreams? Or are you starring in your own show? There's a really great metaphor and quote that Brene Brown talks about in her book. And you may have heard it before. And it's all about being in the arena and showing up. Are you showing up in your life? Or are you sitting in the seats? Are you up in the stages? Because if you're up in the seats and you're not in the arena, that is where all the action is happening. The people that take the cheap seats and they're not out there in the arena, they are the ones that are working for somebody else, holding themselves back in life and judging everyone. And Brene Brown says, if you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked, I am not interested in your opinion or your feedback. So when you do start to put yourself out there, whether it be on social media, whether it be in a new business, new career, pivoting in some way, or pushing yourself out of your comfort zone in some area in your life, what will inevitably happen is that people will judge you. You'll hear comments like, what's she doing? Who does she think she is? What's she doing now? These are all the comments you're going to get. However, the people that you should be listening to are the ones in the arena, the ones that are out there fighting, the ones that are getting their butts kicked on a daily basis. However, they're getting back up again and they're taking the hits, they're learning from them, and they're stepping up again, taking a hit, learning from it, and you just keep going. They're the ones in the arena, but the ones in the cheap seats will always judge you. So just remember that when people are pointing their finger at you. Are they out here doing what I'm doing? Are they taking risks? Do they have the courage to do what I'm doing? And if they don't worry about what they're saying. Always take advice and listen to the people that have gone ahead of you, because you can always guarantee the ones behind you will be telling you why you can't do something. And as Aristotle says, the one way to avoid any criticism in the world is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And that's not what we do, especially on this podcast, because we want to shine bright like a diamond. I hope you've enjoyed today in this podcast. I really love you. I love the fact that you're here today and you're listening to this. And if you think this is of benefit to somebody else, I'd really love you to share it or tag one of your friends in so they can learn all the personal development stuff that we're talking on here too. Look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Like I've always said, there are so many podcasts out there that you can listen to, and the fact that you're here listening to this one, I am so grateful. So thank you so much. This podcast is all about taking center stage of your life in your second act. And your second act isn't a time to slow down. It's a call to action. It's your life and it's your rules. Thank you again. I really, really appreciate you. And if you think that anybody would benefit from this, please share and even tag me in at Angela Vassallo and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now.